You're listening to the Integrated Impact. I am Imar Naib, and this is Storycraft. Welcome back. This is the final of this series, episode 5, and I want to start by acknowledging something. If you've been with me for the last 4 episodes, you have observed tremendous amount. The full stack PM model, the budget as blueprint, the shared language protocol compliance, forward design. Each of these frameworks addresses a critical dimension of a program leadership. But here's what I have not told you yet. None of them works in isolation. A program manager who budget but cannot translate financial data into impact narratives for the boards is still incomplete. A program manager who breaks departmental silos but cannot connect community needs to organizational strategy is still operating below their potentials. A program manager who designs compliant systems but cannot articulate how those systems enable scaling is still leaving value on the table. Today, I bring it all together. Today, I'm going to show you what it looks like when everything connects. When the community voice reaches the boardroom, when the budget tells the impact story, when the compliance enables growth, when coordination produces compounding returns. This is the orchestration model. This is how you lead not just a program, but an organization. Through the program, welcome to episode 5, the Master Orchestrator. Let me paint the picture of the problem at its most complete. In most nonprofit, there is a fundamental disconnection between 4 levels of reality. Level 1, community, the actual needs, challenges, and aspirations of the people your program serves. This is reality, and this reality is complex, nuanced, and constantly evolving. And your field team lives there. Level 2, implementation. The activities, processes, and systems that translate resources into services. Your program staff lives there. They're managing timelines, coordination, logistics, and solving real problems in real time. Level 3, organizational management. The financial systems, the HR infrastructures, compliance frameworks, and operational processes that enables implementation. Your support functions live here. Finance, HR, procurement, IT, blah, blah, blah. Level 4, governance. The board of directors, the donor relationships, the strategic positioning of the organization in the border sector. Your executive leadership lives here, making decisions about organizational directions based on whatever information reaches them. The catastrophic failure in most organizations is that these 4 levels operate as separate universes. Community reality gets filtered through so many layers by the time it reaches the board. It is an unrecognizable upstream. Board level strategic decisions get translated so poorly by the time it reaches the field, they're irrelevant mandates. Financial data flow up but doesn't connect to impact. Impact stories flow up but don't connect to financial sustainability. Compliance requirements flow down but don't connect to operational realities. Operational innovation flow up but don't influence strategic direction. The result is an organization that is connectively effective at each level and dysfunctional as a whole. Programs deliver services without connecting to organizational sustainability. Boards make funding decisions without understanding operational realities. Finance tracks expenditures without connecting them to outcomes. Field teams serve communities without influencing the policies that shape their work. This is not a communication problem, it's an architect problem. And the person positioned to solve it, the person who sits at the intersection of all four levels, is the program manager, not the executive director who is too far from implementation detail, not the finance director who is too far from community reality, and not the field coordinator who is too far from governance dynamic. The program manager is the person who touches budget, personnel, activities, and results to me all together. But only if they accept the role, only if they stop thinking of themselves as activity managers and start thinking of themselves as organizational orchestrators. Here's the Master Orchestrator model. It has 4 functions, and all 4 must operate together. Function 1, translation. You translate between levels of the organization reality. Upward translation, converting field data into board level strategic insights. Downward translation is converting board decisions into implementation relevant guidance. Lateral translation is converting departmental priorities into shared organizational language. The practical tool here is what I call the narrative pipeline. Every month you produce one document, one page that tells the organization story from community to boardroom. It starts with beneficiary insight. It connects that insights into an activity outcome. It links that outcome to a budget utilization metric. It frames that metric within organization strategies points of view. One page, 4 level, complete integration. Function 2. And you thought we were done, but no. We're talking about financial impact linkage. You create an unbreakable connection between every dollar spent and every outcome produced. The tool is the cost per outcome framework, and for every major program outcome, you calculate the total cost direct, indirect, shared, required to achieve it. This number becomes your organizational efficiency matrix. It tells the board we spend X dollars to produce 1 unit of impact, and it tells the donor your investment produced this measurable return, and it tells your team here's why this budget allocation matters. We're in California, so under 2 SFR 328, recipients report on financial and program performance. Most organizations file these as separate documents, a financial report and a performance report. The Master Orchestrator integrates them. The financial report demonstrates performance. The performance report justifies expenditures. They are the same story told through different lenses. Now, function 3, system architect. You don't just manage, you build the infrastructure that makes management sustainable beyond your individual efforts. This means creating meeting rhythms, dashboard structures, feedback loops, and escalation pathways that function regardless of who holds the program manager position. The integration meeting structure from episode 3, if you remember that. If not, go back to it. That's one element. The budget to action translation from episode 2, that's another. The compliance forward design process from episode 4 is another. Together, they form an orchestration infrastructure, a set of interlocking systems that keep the organization aligned without requiring heroic individual efforts. Function for adaptive leadership. The orchestrator reads signals from all four levels all together and makes judgment calls about when to adapt, when community needs shift. You adjust implementation before deviation becomes crisis. When a budget retaliates change, you adjust timeline before they break. When personnel dynamics shifts, you adjust coordination mechanism before silos reform. And when board priorities evolve, you adjust your narrative before misalignment grows. And here's the implementation sequence for building this in your organization. Month one, establish a narrative pipeline. One monthly document to calculate your cost per outcome for your top 3 programs results. Month 3, formalize your integration meeting structure and cross-functional dashboard. Month 4, conduct a compliance infrastructure audit and implement compliance forward design for your next program cycle. Present your integrated orchestration report to leadership, combining financial performance, implementation progress, compliance health, and strategic recommendations in a single briefing. By month 5 now, you are no longer a program manager. You are the organizational integrator, the person who makes the whole greater than the sum of its parts, the master orchestrator. This is what I want you to carry forward from this entire series. The nonprofit sector does not need more specialists. It does not need better program designer or better budget analysis or better compliance or officers working in isolation. It needs integrators, people who can hold multiple dimensions of organizational reality all together and create coherence from complexity. That person can be you if you choose it to be. If you reject the artificial boundaries between program and finance, um, between implementation and governance, between community and boardroom, if you accept that your job is not to manage activities, but to orchestrate outcomes across every level of the organizational function. And here's it for the hiring managers. The next leader you hire should not be evaluated on their technical expertise alone. Ask them how they connect budget data to impact narrative. Ask them how they translate board strategy into field level guidance. Ask them what system they've built that outlasted their tenure. The orchestrator leaves behind infrastructure, not just results. For everyone who has listened to this series, you now have the framework, the full stack program manager model, the budget to action translation, and the shared language protocol, compliance forward design, the master orchestrator model. These are not theoretical, they are operational. They work in organization of every size, in every subsector, in every funding environment. The only question is whether you'll implement them. This has been the integrated impact, a 5-part series from the Storycraft. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your commitment to this profession. Lead integrated, lead complete, lead as an orchestrator, your organization. Until next time, have a wonderful day.